You know how some people can just walk into a room and they just have this presence? They're not loud or flashy, but they command respect without even trying. Well, it's not magic. It's something much quieter and much more real. Today we're going to dive into the science behind that genuine confidence and pull out 6 subtle, practical things you can do to project it yourself.
Okay, let's just get right into it, because this is the question, isn't it? We've all been there. There is such a fine line between coming across as self-assured and, well, coming across as arrogant. Nailing that balance, that's the whole game. It's what separates real confidence from just making a lot of noise.
And when you break it down like this, the difference becomes crystal clear. Real confidence is quiet. It's graceful. It doesn't need to shout from the rooftops. Because it's an internal thing, it comes from the inside. Arrogance, though, that's loud. It needs an audience. It needs validation. Because deep down, it's all based on insecurity.
So we've all heard that advice, right? Fake it till you make it. But what if that's not really the answer? The real solution is about creating a genuine connection, a sync between your mind and your body. See, when your physical self and your mental self are actually on the same page, you don't have to fake anything. Confidence just happens. It becomes your natural state.
This is where things get really interesting, because we're getting into the science of it all. We tend to think of our brain as the CEO just barking orders down at the body. But what the research shows is that it's actually much more of a two-way conversation. Your body is constantly sending signals back up to your brain that literally shape how you think and feel.
The fancy term for this is embodied cognition, but all it really means is that your mind isn't just floating around in your skull separate from everything else. Your thoughts, your feelings, they are deeply, deeply influenced by what your body is doing, how you're moving, how you're standing, how you're interacting with the world around you. It's all connected.
And here's the kicker. It is a feedback loop. Of course, your mind affects your body, but, and this is the important part, how you hold your body sends these powerful signals right back to your brain, and those signals can actively change your emotional state. This is where we can really start to build genuine confidence.
And then you layer this on top of it, the sociometer theory. Just think of your self-esteem as this little internal gauge, like a fuel gauge in a car. It's constantly checking, how am I doing socially? Do I feel included? Am I accepted? And confidence? That's just the feeling you get when that gauge is reading full. And our body language is one of the main ways we signal that value, both to others and to ourselves.
All right, so enough of the why, let's get to the how. We're going to explore 6 really practical, actionable tools that you can start using right away to improve this conversation between your mind and your body, and in the process, build some real lasting confidence.
First up, let's talk about your physical stance. This is going to cover our first 2 tools. I want you to think of your body like a broadcast station. It is constantly sending out signals, not just to the people around you, but maybe even more importantly, right back to your own brain. How you take up space directly impacts how you feel inside.
So what does this actually look like? Well, simply standing or sitting upright, pulling your shoulders back a little, keeping your head held high. These things aren't just about looking better. They literally send a message to your brain to feel more powerful, to feel more composed. And when you use gestures that are purposeful and controlled instead of, fidgeting or tapping, you're signaling to your own nervous system that everything is okay. You're calm, you're in control.
Okay, so we've got our posture down. Now let's move on to our social signals. These are tools 3 and 4. Because confidence isn't just something you feel by yourself in a room, right? It's really expressed and it gets reinforced by how we connect with the people around us. Man, this one is so simple but so powerful. Making steady, comfortable eye contact, it's one of the most basic ways we build trust. It's a nonverbal way of saying, hey, I see you, I'm listening, and I'm secure enough in myself to meet your gaze. It just radiates self-assurance without you having to say a single word.
Think about the voices of people you really trust. They're almost never rushed or frantic, are they? Maintaining a steady vocal tone just signals composure. When we get nervous, our first instinct is to speed up, so consciously slowing down just a little bit makes a huge difference. And varying your pitch, that shows you're engaged and present, and it tells everyone, including your own brain, that you're feeling calm and confident. All right, for our last set of tools, we're going to turn inward. And honestly, this is where the most powerful work happens. Because at the end of the day, true confidence has to be built from the inside out. Okay, this one is a total game changer. Meta-awareness. It sounds complicated, but it's not. It's just the skill of being able to observe your own thoughts and feelings, almost like you're watching them from a distance. So instead of getting totally swept away by a wave of anxiety, you learn to just notice it, acknowledge it, and then not let it control what you do. It's the absolute foundation of emotional self-control.
So how do you even start to build a skill like that? Well, you can start right now with a super simple 10-second reset. Just take one deep breath, in and out. Now notice the feeling of your feet on the floor, just grounding you in this moment. And then just acknowledge one thought you're having, and then just let it go. This tiny little practice can pull you out of a negative spiral and put you right back in a state of calm control.
And here it is, our final tool. And this one might just be the most counterintuitive one of all. You want to know a real sign of confidence? Being secure enough to admit you don't have all the answers. Saying "I don't know" shows that your self-worth isn't tied to being perfect or being right all the time. It's a quiet, powerful declaration of both humility and self-assurance.
So as we start to bring all these pieces together, you start to see a really clear picture emerge, don't you? True, authentic confidence? It's not about being the biggest or the loudest or the showiest person in the room. It's actually something much, much deeper.
Let's just end on this powerful idea, because it really says it all. Confidence is a state of being. It just radiates outward naturally. It doesn't need to prove anything. Arrogance, on the other hand, because it's rooted in that insecurity we talked about, is constantly trying to sell itself. When you focus on building that quiet, internal strength, everything else just follows.
So here they are again, your 6 key tools. You've got an upright posture and purposeful gestures to align your body. You have steady eye contact and a controlled tone to connect with others. And you have practicing meta-awareness and being willing to admit what you don't know to master your inner state. Every single one is a step toward building that genuine, unshakable confidence.
So I'll leave you with this. Your body is in a constant conversation with your mind. It is shaping your reality in every single moment. The real question is, are you paying attention to what it's saying? And are you ready to use that conversation to become the most confident version of yourself?